All right, it's got part 2 of this 40 by 60 barn build. I've got enough now to warrant another video. In my opinion, I'm not going to sit here and I don't want to make 20 videos of every little thing that has been done, but I'd like to make enough to where I'm at a good spot and I can explain enough in a short amount of video to make it worth people's time watching. Because like I said in the beginning, I just couldn't find anything online that would break down each individual cost. Now everything's going to be different from region to region, contractor to contractor, but this is what I'm paying for stuff. And it doesn't bother me a bit to talk about the price or the cost of stuff. Maybe that to me, that seems like an old school way of thinking about stuff. Like I'll tell people whatever, whatever you want to know. Because that's just stuff that I wanted to know to budget this, and it's just really hard to find out there. So hopefully, if it helps one person, I'm cool with it. A couple things I've learned, if you're gonna GC this stuff yourself, the timelines that, I had a timeline in my head, and we're just really far past that, which is not a big deal. I'm not in any hurry, but getting things lined up and getting contractors lined up and building relationships with subs and getting everybody in here where they're not stepping on each other, just working around their schedule has been a little bit of a learning experience for me, but not that big a deal again. So, and another thing that I like to talk about is you don't have to give people your money before they perform the service. I don't care what anybody says. You can find contractors that will come in, tell you what they're going to do it, and then send you a bill. You don't have to give them 15-20% up front. I don't buy that. I don't do it. And if a contractor requires me to give X amount of dollars up front, then I'll just find somebody else to do business with, and that's just the way it is. I would just like to keep that in mind. For anybody doing future builds, like, you don't have to do that. I don't do a lot of things that people say I have to do anyway. So, but that's besides the point. The folks that built this barn package for me, they didn't take one penny from me. We're talking, a good chunk of building materials, and they said, I'll pay in installments when the materials hit the ground. I'll pay, which I thought was great. No other company I could find would do that. They'd all want 15% down right up front. And everybody knows what happens when you give 15% down. All of a sudden the salesmen become hard to get in touch with. Nobody wants to communicate with you. Nobody wants to tell you when things are going to be there, or they just drag their feet. So anyway, that's my little rant on giving contractors money up front. I'm just not going to do it. Now, I can see the contractor side of things is, they don't want to get burned with all this material, but in my mind, if I was a contractor, I just wouldn't work for somebody that was going to burn me. So, but anyway, like I said, that's just a little silly rant, but just everybody, I'd like people to keep in mind that you don't have to fork over your money until services are rendered. And that's just a fact. So we'll walk out here and I'll let you see what I got going on. Got all the build material. Been here for a little while. Windows, trusses. So the pad came out to be, what was it, 52 by 80. Straighten up this plastic. We're pouring this thing in the morning. plumbing stubbed out. I really didn't think I was going to have it in this front corner, but it was the closest route to my septic. The standard toilet and utility sink. So I don't know how much I have in it because I have not paid anybody anything on that yet. After they get it, we get trimmed out and everything. Give me the bill on that. Got this rebar laid in for the turn down, which hell, I didn't even know what a turn down meant until about 3 months ago. But basically just concrete will form up 12 inches to the side of the form here, this area, and then it'll just come down to 4 inches on the main pad. Basically just a footer for the building to sit on, but hell, I didn't know none of this shit. So that's kind of why I wanted to GC it myself, and not only save some money, but to just learn. I will say the pad, the foundation was a whole lot more expensive than I anticipated, because I always thought, I've always seen pole barns just put in the ground and then the pad built up to it in the inside, but with all this rock out here, we decided just to go ahead and do the pad and then bolt the screw the beam and brackets down into the concrete. So I've got, shoot, just in this foundation, which, like I said, I wasn't anticipating, but you know, it is what it is. Probably about $11,000. And then $1,100 in the plastic sheet and rebar so far. Building materials, like I said, they've been here a while, you can tell. And then let's see here, that once they dropped the materials, they collected $47,000 for the material. So anyway, we'll get this thing poured in the morning, and we'll do another video. I'll just link it into this one once we get it all poured and finished. It's 81 yards. I think it turned out great. Got a little bit of a lip there so that the building sits just a little bit higher than the side shed. It was a job and a half for those guys. Put a drain in, make a little wash bay back here. We're good now. Should have a building up in about a week. I'm gonna let it sit about a week. But and it was hotter than 7 hells out here today. So for that, the heat and the amount there, I'm happy with it. So we'll let this thing sit and start getting some build material hung in there about 7 days.